as the Wisconsin Badgers get ready to take on the #1 overall seed Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners 1 win away from hosting a Super Regional next week. This is regional final action of the 2019 NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. Let's take a look at this Norman region bracket. UMBC and Notre Dame both eliminated yesterday as Wisconsin came from behind in dramatic fashion to get here against the Sooners, who have yet to allow even one hit. And we welcome you to Norman. Pam Ward along with three-time All-American Jenny Dalton-Hill. And no surprise that Oklahoma is here. They have played so well. But Wisconsin, in a way, this is surprising, especially the way they've been outplayed.
They have been out-hit 31-8, a batting average of just 113 in this regional, and yet still in the regional final against Oklahoma.
And that is because against Notre Dame last night, this happened. They were down 4-0 going into the bottom of the 7th.
Allie Miklish with a hard hit. That one would score the second run. Notre Dame would still be ahead 4-2. Then Lombardo comes to the plate, had 5 strikeouts and an 0-for-8 performance in the regional. Huge home run, jacks the game winner. Wisconsin walks it off 5-4. Oklahoma, though, in a weekend where they have hit 4 home runs, Kaylee Clifton has half of them. A line drive, 2-run frozen rope against UMBC in their first game. And a number 2, a 2-run shot off Wisconsin's Caitlin Menz. Now 16 home runs on the season for her.
Oklahoma as a team has hit over 100 home runs, and Mariah Lopez gets the ball today.
Lopez has thrown 1 inning of work in this regional, 3 strikeouts in it, now has 144 strikeouts on the year.
Lopez combined with 2 other pitchers in a perfect game. G. Juarez got the start, Shannon Sale cleaned up. In the 5-inning perfect game against UMBC yesterday, Juarez went the entire game and no-hit the Badgers. The rematch is in the regional final. The #1 Sooners have not only not given up a run, they have yet to give up a hit. First pitch just around the corner. It is a beautiful day, perfect day for softball as the Oklahoma Sooners take on the Wisconsin Badgers. Oklahoma no-hit them when they played yesterday. And the Sooners so far have been untouchable, and another sold-out crowd here at Marita Hines Field. It only took about 10 minutes to sell this entire place out for the regional, and Oklahoma is on a tear as their winning streak is now over 40 games. Patty Gasso, again, the Big 12 Coach of the Year, 8 straight, 12 overall. And she has a team that is statistically #1 in the country in many categories, including fielding percentage, hitting, batting average rather, and ERA.
They lead in 4 offensive categories. They also have the highest fielding percentage in the nation, so defense is on point. And then also the lowest ERA in the circle combined for the team. Yvette Healy over for Wisconsin knows that she has a formidable foe across the diamond, but has really tried to embrace the fact that an underdog can always win.
And if she were to get win number 300, what a win it would be. It would snap Oklahoma's winning streak and also set up a winner-take-all second game today. But Wisconsin is a team that has come in, even though the 2 wins against Notre Dame, they were out-hit 23-8 combined. And they've been out-hit in this regional 31-8, including no hits at all against Oklahoma. The Sooner streak is impressive, to say the least. 41 straight wins. That is the best streak ever for a 1-season stretch, and they're only 6 away from tying Arizona's all-time record.
And I think that can be done. They've got that many games left in this season. Oklahoma has really set themselves up nicely to try to make a run for that record.
And Mariah Lopez, who did pitch 1 inning of that perfect game, combined perfect game on Friday, gets the start.
Lopez has 144 strikeouts on the year, has over 100 innings pitched, but right now Lopez in the high 60s. You got to get to toe touch early or get your stride on time. Move to the back of the box, allow that rise ball to travel, see that it gets out of the zone. You don't want to be fooled by it, but an improved off speed can be really difficult to pick up. So you've got to stay off of that off speed until you've got 2 strikes.
Time now for today's starting lineups presented by Capital One. Kayla Conwent, who was the Player of the Year in the Big Ten, off to a slow start, but got a couple of doubles last night to break out of it.
And that's exactly what they need at the top of the lineup. She has been so good for them all year, but maybe the light's a little too big for the biggest games of her career. Now stepping in a little bit more comfortable against in their third game against Oklahoma.
Conwent missed her first 2 seasons on campus, had a shoulder injury, then was bothered by an elbow. She's got a brace on that right elbow. Very impressive numbers for the junior from Salem, Wisconsin. We're underway. First pitch swinging for Conwent.
And just a much different look for Conwent. Stayed in her legs, did a much better job of keeping her balance through her swings. We saw her out of the zone earlier in this regional, just settling in with those 2 doubles in their last game.
Wisconsin in that dramatic win last night against Notre Dame only had 4 hits, but all of them were for extra bases. Conwent with 2 doubles, Welsh had the double, and then the walk-off 3-run home run by Stephanie Lombardo, who's been moved up to 3rd in the lineup today. 0-2 pitch. Conwent pops it up. Romero for the out. Sydney Romero, one of the anchors on this defense that is, statistically speaking, #1 in the nation. And you see a view, Mendez and a low from left to right. But they don't get a lot of action sometimes out there. The pitchers have been so dominating. Lyons is the freshman shortstop who has gotten a lot of help from Romero and Clifton. Knighton over at first, and Lindsey Elam, the sophomore catcher.
We talk about how the defense is so good, but when it comes to the circle, their ERA as a team 1.11. So as they step into the circle, they don't give up a lot of hits. A lot of that due to the tough defense that leads the nation in fielding percentage.
Taylor Johnson hit a 3-run home run in the Friday night win over Notre Dame for the Badgers. And I don't think you could ask for a better day than what we have right here. 70 degrees, clear skies, light winds. Now the weather's supposed to get super nasty tomorrow. It was super nasty yesterday morning, but we have been very fortunate here in Norman to dodge all the storms. Another 0-2 count. Pitch sails upstairs, and you take a look at the upper right-hand corner, the other scores around the country, and you're seeing a lot of lightning delays and weather delays. I know in Evanston, the winner from this regional will play the winner from Evanston. Delays in Minneapolis that caused a game to be pushed to this morning. That's that Georgia-Drake game. But we have been very fortunate.
You always expect weather this time of year. Very volatile within Oklahoma. That rainstorm yesterday morning, I thought there was no way we were going to play. Over 4 inches of rain fell before game time. But the field crew here at Oklahoma did a great job of getting us back on track, and the game stayed on time.
We got all 3 of them in yesterday. 1-2 pitch now to Johnson. Puts that into right field. Alo fighting the sun a little bit. Doesn't catch up, but it lands in foul territory.
Alo gave great chase. It's hard to dive after a ball head first and when it's up in the air like that, so goes to that figure 4 slide to try to come away with it. Good effort, but Johnson stays alive.
Figure 4 slide.
When you tuck one leg under the other, it looks like a number 4, right?
If you say so. All-American softball jargon. A little bit too high to Johnson. Taylor, a sophomore from Beecher, Illinois, a first-team All-Big Ten selection. This is the 7th pitch of the at-bat coming. Lopez looks into the dugout. Jen Rocha, the first-year pitching coach, giving the signals.
And that's actually a deceiving comment, calling her a first-year pitching coach. So seasoned, coming here from Florida, where she had won a couple national championships on that staff, but played at Oklahoma and able to come back home and try to get another national championship in a Sooner uniform.
And what a staff to inherit. Now the 2-2. Johnson continues to fight off pitches.
This is an impressive at bat for Johnson, especially going against the three-headed monster of Oklahoma. G. Juarez, Mariah Lopez, and Shannon Sale combined for a 1.11 ERA as a staff, have not given up a hit in this regional, had a perfect game in game one as they combined together. Jen Rocha, I didn't want to say it's an easy job because it's tough, but at the same time, with those three pitchers in the circle, it's got to be so much fun to know that you can throw a lot of different looks out there.
On the ground, and the freshman Lyons throws across to retire Johnson. Let's call it a luxury.
That's a great word.
Jen Rocha, and for the pitchers, Melissa Lombardi, who had been a really good coach here, pitching coach, now the head coach at Oregon, and it's not too shabby. She leaves, and you just slide Jen Rocha right back in.
Well, and Lombardi is a big loss for this program. She was able to really establish that left-handed pitching dominance here at Oklahoma. So a big loss, but able to fill big shoes with another amazing coach.
And now here is Stephanie Lombardo, who was 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts before she stepped into the box with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th and hit her 8th home run of the year. The 3-run shot stunned and eliminated Notre Dame.
Well, and we've seen her be very vulnerable to the rise ball, so Mariah Lopez in the circle going to be a tough pitcher for her to face if she cannot lay off that ball up in her eyes.
She's had an 0-2 count on all 3 batters. Mariah Lopez, the junior from Saugus, California. Just got a piece of it.
The thing that's unique about this pitching staff for Oklahoma is all 3 of their pitchers are juniors, and because of that, you'll see a huge graduation out of them. So what Patty Gasso is going to need to do is make sure that she brings in some very young talent so that they're able to transfer all of the knowledge that they've gained in the circle to a younger staff to take over for them when they're done.
Strike 3 looking. Lopez picks up where she left off in the combined perfect game on Friday with a perfect first inning.
Well, how do you want to start a game? How about go perfect? Strike out the side, get yourself back to the dugout. It's scoreless.
Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. Wisconsin went down in order in the top of the first. Oklahoma getting ready to get to the plate. And Caitlin Menz will be in the circle for the Badgers.
Menz in the circle, 101 strikeouts on the year and 150 innings pitched. She's got just a fastball and a changeup, so she's going to pitch to location. Hitters are going to need to really just key in on a zone and stay off that changeup until they've got 2 strikes. Can be a little bit wild, so discipline at the plate going to be an important factor for Oklahoma.
Time now for tonight's starting lineups presented by Capital One. For Oklahoma, this is a team that is hitting .366 as a club overall, and Sydney Romero, one of the top 10 finalists for National Player of the Year, leads off.
They've got 3 hitters hitting over 400. Yesterday's performance by Jocelyn Lowe dropped her below that 400 mark, but just so much power throughout the top of the lineup. An amazing team Oklahoma's got.
First pitch swinging, Romero wastes no time and hits the scoreboard. 1 pitch, 1-0 Sooners.
In talking with Patty Gasso, she said the message that we were giving them is that we were unaggressive in our last game. We've got to do a better job of taking strikes and doing damage with them. Romero said we live in a world of expectation, and we were disappointed with the way that we fought, but absolutely listen. It's a no-doubter. This went over the wall. What a way to start. Oklahoma on the board in the very first pitch that they see.
Sydney Romero's hitting streak now at 7 games after her team-leading 18th home run of the season and home run number 102 for the Sooners. 102 home runs in this, their 54th game. Faleavu tries to follow that. That is certainly announcing your presence with authority.
Well, and it was Romero when Coach Gasso walked into the locker room after their win yesterday. She said, you know, when I walked in, normally they're beating on their lockers and they're excited and they're happy. She said, when I walked in yesterday, it was absolutely silent. The reason being, they were not happy with their performance. Romero said, we did not do what we know we can, and tomorrow we need to do a much better job, be more aggressive at the plate, and take advantage of pitches left for us.
Faleavu at the plate. 2 for 5 so far in this regional. Oklahoma only having to play 2 games. That's JT Gasso. And in that shot, talking to Jocelyn Allo. Part of this coaching staff of what has become the most dominant team, certainly in the regular season this year. Oklahoma has not lost since February 22nd. 2 losses to the reigning national champion Seminoles and to UCLA. That's it. On the ground to Lauren Foster. And we have been very impressed with the defense of Foster. Romero's home run, number 102. They are now 5 away from the program record set in 2015. That was a year that they did not win a national championship. And 5 home runs here in the Norman Regional. That was the first one that was not a 2-run shot.
I don't think anybody's complaining. When you can take the first pitch out of the ballpark, that really gives an exclamation point to what you're trying to do here in the regional final.
Now Kaylee Clifton, she has 2 of the home runs. 2-run shot yesterday against Wisconsin, and then one in the opener against UMBC. One of the seniors on this team, and Coach Gasso just raves about the leadership from this group. And that's important. We talk about all the numbers. They're eye-opening. They lead the nation in so many categories. But if you don't have the chemistry, all that could be for naught.
And it's more than chemistry as well. These seniors, there's 5 of them at Oklahoma. These 5 seniors won a national championship their freshman year, won a national championship their sophomore year. Last year got kicked out of Oklahoma City at the World Series by Washington prematurely. They do not want that to happen again.
Oklahoma now with 102 home runs. That is 1 behind Florida State. They have 103. The Seminoles have hit 9 home runs in their regional, including going 4 in a row yesterday.
That to me was so impressive. 4 hitters back to back to back to back home runs. They do not want Oklahoma to catch them.
And a 3-1 pitch on the way to Clifton with Allo on deck. And it's not a bad weekend.
And Kaylee Clifton is perhaps the most even player that flies under the radar for Oklahoma. Coach Gasso talks about her being the glue to this team, that she can't take her off the field because everything would change. The dynamic would be so different without her.
And she works the 1-out walk. Let's take a look at the defense behind Caitlin Menz. Welsh, Miklas, and Hedgecock for now in the outfield. Coach Healy likes to change it up. Jordan Little, Lauren Foster, who's been really good at short. Jolie Fish, who is from Midwest City, Oklahoma, about half hour from here, Conwent. And then Taylor Johnson, who had been playing third base but converted to catcher after an injury to their everyday catcher, Melanie Cross. Put her behind the plate during the Big Ten season. She's done a good job. Jocelyn Allo, first pitch swinging. Jocelyn, as Jenny mentioned, just 2 for 6 in the regional, so her batting average has dropped down to .397. She had been one of the 4 Sooners hitting at least .400. She had a 12-game hitting streak that was snapped last night. Kaylee Clifton takes off, and she just got in under the tag. Johnson with a nice throw. And she is called safe.
That's
about as good as this throw can be. Knowing that the coverage for this is coming from second base, that's a great pickup by the second baseman, Fish. I don't know about that call. I think the tag was applied before she got there, but the positioning in this four-person umpire crew, which is new in the postseason, kind of blocks that tag.
Clifton now 8 for 8 in stolen bases. Foster off the mark, but Conwent came off the bag to apply the tag. Nice play by Conwent over there at first, and one of the few errant throws you'll probably ever see from Foster.
Foster with a great arm, but a good first baseman knows that as you come off the bag, you've got to be a little bit athletic to be able to catch this ball and go for the tag. Conwent does a great job of coming off the bag, swiping the tag. A low is out.
So 2 away with Clifton on second base for Grace Green. Green, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, also first team All Big 12. Jocelyn Allo was the Freshman of the Year last year, not just in the Big 12, but nationally. Just keep on coming to this Sooner program. Skyward, Fish drifts back, and the Oklahoma native makes the play to end the inning, but Oklahoma breaks on top with a big bang.
How do you start a game? Well, when a pitcher's trying to get ahead, you put a big swing on a big pitch. Sidney Romero with the first pitch, home run. Oklahoma with the lead.
Kayla Conwent, Big Ten Player of the Year for Wisconsin. Set a new school record for home runs, and again, this is after she had to sit out 2 years with injuries.
A torn labrum in her throwing shoulder, and then also had complications, so trouble in the elbow. Had to sit out for 2 seasons, and because of that, spent a ton of time with Ashley Parr, the trainer. You see there, that's who she's talking to. And Ashley Parr, when Kayla Conwent was named the Big Ten Player of the Year, who was the first person she told? Ashley Parr. Why? She said, because she's the one that got me ready to play, and I have to give her so much credit because that's why I'm able to be back on the field.
And Kayla's mother is Cheryl Conwent, and had one of the more favorite comments when we talked to Kayla. What did she call her mom?
She called her mom radiant, and that she's her best friend. So if you've ever got a kid, you know that those are 2 very important comments because they don't come lightly. A lot of weight carried on those, and Kayla is so happy that her mom was able to be here.
Wisconsin went down in order in the first inning. Lauren Foster, the shortstop, leading things off here in the second. Very solid as a defensive shortstop. And this is a Wisconsin team that is in the regional final. And we already have 3 teams that have gone past the regionals, and Oklahoma State, their first super regional since 2011, have been joined today by Kentucky and Florida. Kentucky with an emphatic win today. So congratulations to those teams. The winner of this regional will take on the winner of the Evanston regional next week, which is super regional weekend.
If Oklahoma is able to come away with this game here today, that super regional would be hosted here in Norman, Oklahoma.
Oscar takes the strike. Second straight strikeout for Lopez as Foster goes down swinging. Evanston right now, they are in a weather delay. Louisville and Northwestern getting ready to face off. Northwestern getting that 16 seed. And as Jen mentioned, The winners from these two respective regionals will meet next week. Caroline Hedgecock, the Arkansas transfer, becoming the everyday right fielder for the Badgers.
She was primarily a pitcher at Arkansas, and coming into Wisconsin has transitioned very well to the outfield and put herself in the hitting lineup as well.
She is 1 for 5 in this regional. As a team, before this game started, Wisconsin was hitting .113, their opponents .344, and yet here they are in the regional final. They have now been outscored 11-9. Whatever works, right? You get the extra base hits. That's all they had yesterday. The big 3-run shot with 2 outs won the ball game.
Wisconsin brought their sports psychologist with them, Cassie Paskerle. I'm going to say that wrong. I apologize for butchering that. But their sports psychologist, they spent the morning with her. And in that moment, they were able to focus on the clutch moments they've had and not the disappointing lack of hits that they've come into this with. They were able to reflect on the big moments, breathe, and allow themselves to encourage rather than be disappointed in their performances.
And one thing that Coach Healy did was she replayed the bottom of the 7th inning. The team watched that, including with our calls on it, which might have discouraged them, but wanted them to just get that feeling and carry that feeling over into today.
Well, Pam, listening to your call of that home run, the pure excitement and joy of watching something that we did not expect to happen, so exciting, and that's the kind of energy you need to come in when you face Oklahoma.
Hedgecock strikes out looking. That's 3 in a row now for Lopez, coming back from a 3-1 count to get her.
Right now, Wisconsin needing to find a way to grab some more hits. They have been out-hit by every opponent, but have been able to come away into the final. This pitch looks inside, but a great frame by Elam back behind the dish gives Mariah Lopez her 3rd strikeout.
And now Jolie Fish, the Oklahoman, freshman from Midwest City, gobbled up about 40 tickets for her friends and family. And that's not an easy thing to do because, as we mentioned, this regional sold out in 10 minutes.
Well, there's always that block of tickets for the visiting team for their pass list. But for Fish, she said every single batter or every single person on the pass list had Jolie Fish's name after it. So she was able to grab some tickets from her teammates who maybe didn't have family coming.
Just the second at bat for Jolie, who is starting at second this afternoon. Down 0-2.
One of the new pitches this year for Mariah Lopez is a drop ball, and we saw that earlier in this at-bat, using it to lead things off, knowing that it's maybe not as trusted as the other pitches. But I love that she is using that pitch, getting more comfortable with it, mixing it with the rise ball. So hard to hit a change of plane pitcher that has the kind of speed movement as Mariah Lopez.
And Lopez has been aggressive, getting ahead of every batter she has faced. 6 batters, 6 first pitch strikes, and this is the 4th 0-2 count out of the half dozen batters she has faced. And that's got to make Jen Rocha happy, getting ahead.
And Lopez is one of those pitchers that maybe has flown under the radar, but she is such a dynamic pitcher. She has been behind the 2 Pages, Paige Parker and Paige Lowry, and now thinking that this would be a big one for her, she's done a great job in this role.
I want to welcome those of you who just saw Florida State advance to the Super Regionals. Congratulations to the reigning national champions. They will play Oklahoma State in the Supers in Tallahassee next week. Pam Ward along with Jenny Dalton-Hill. And Oklahoma 1 win away from hosting a Super Regional themselves next week. Sydney Romero led off with a first pitch home run. So it's 1-0 Sooners. Oklahoma has not allowed a hit in this regional. Sydney Romero, good backhand, throws across to retire the side. When we come back, we will go inside Oklahoma's 41-game winning streak. They have won 41 straight games, but look what they have done within that stretch.
Outscoring their opponents over almost 300 runs more than their opponents. And in those wins, 20 of them have been run rule wins. Amazing Oklahoma offense. Partner that with a team ERA, 0.91. Are you kidding me? Just within the streak. On the year, they're at 1.11. A lot of that has to do with the three-headed monster. And this one, G. Juarez, who has been an ace for Oklahoma, transfer in from ASU from a year ago, is coming in and is undefeated on the season.
And then Mariah Lopez, figure her in as well. Lopez and Shannon Sale, the three of them combining on the perfect game against UMBC on Friday night. The first perfect game in postseason history for the Sooners. And they have the 1-0 lead thanks to Sydney Romero. Shay Knighton leads off the second inning. One of those senior leaders that have emerged for Oklahoma and want to avenge the World Series early exit last season.
And Shay Knighton was one of those players that emerged in her freshman season, was named the most outstanding player during that 2017 Women's College World Series Championship. This season, a little bit different look for Shay Knighton. Two knees that are not performing well for her.
Chop to Fish, who can't handle it. Knighton's on.
So while Shay Knighton may not have knees that are cooperating and giving her the kind of performance that give her the everyday oomph that she wants, she is still so important in this lineup. She will be the DP today, not playing, or she has been moved to defense playing first base. But that was an error by the second baseman. Shay Knighton, not a lot of speed on those wheels, but a great softball IQ will help her with her instincts on the bases.
So the error puts Knighton on base. So Oklahoma has gotten the leadoff runner on in both innings so far. Nicole Mendez hit a monstrous home run on Friday. That cleared the right field bleachers.
Went over the second fence. I mean, it was a no-doubter off the bat. A group of 2-run home runs, 3 of them in that game against UMBC. So check out this hit. Off the bat, you knew. Just sounds different. Over the bleachers. Can't be caught. That game against UMBC, Oklahoma came out swinging big. It was in the second game against Wisconsin that they didn't like the performance offensively. The hitters coming in with a different mindset today.
Mendez squares to bunt and the throw down. Johnson behind the plate, not afraid to do things like that.
We saw a pickoff of a Notre Dame base runner yesterday. Johnson trying. Shay Knighton, really smart, does not get a huge lead, knowing that the agility is not really there where it has been in years past.
Playing on 2 chronically painful knees. Mendez swings through. Mendez last year hit .309, which is good for most people, but was down from her freshman year, and she's about 70 points higher this year. And has been the everyday center fielder. And the count is full. Solidly hit, and a great catch by Fish. She had committed the error on the ground ball that put Knighton on and then made up for it with that play.
Defense is all about the first step. You got to make sure that that first step is aggressive. She takes a great drop step, the angle perfect, able to come away with it and keep Oklahoma from getting in scoring position. Beautiful play by Fish at second base.
Nice stretch. Fish is only 5'4". And got the out. Knighton still at first for Lindsey Elam, sophomore catcher for the Sooners. And when we spoke with head coach Patty Gasso earlier, he said Elam, Lions, she thinks of them more as table setters for the top of the order, and specifically Sydney Romero.
Elam's been asked to bunt a lot also at the bottom of the lineup, and the mentality Patty Gasso says that she wants in her 7 through 9 hitters is just find a way to move a runner.
That was a mighty swing for Elam, sophomore from Chickasaw, Oklahoma. Won a couple of state high school titles there. A whole lot of little girls, I'm sure, who grew up dreaming of wearing that uniform. And Elam's one of them. That is gobbled up nicely by Little at third to get Knighton. Year 2 coming up with the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational presented by Wilson. 16 teams, all games on the ESPN network starting February 13th of 2020. Participating teams on the screen. Go to St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invite.com for more information, and we will reveal more teams next weekend as we round out the 16-team field. Number 9 hitter is Grace Lyons, the shortstop. One of 2 freshmen, along with Grace Green, who have been pretty much in the everyday lineup with Oklahoma. Very few surprises. Patty Gasso usually just goes in and fills in the same 9, which must be a luxury.
We have seen a lot of changes, especially across the diamond in Wisconsin. They've had 51 defensive changes in this regional alone. But Oklahoma sticks to the plan. Grace Lyons, a shortstop, coming in having to fill some pretty big shoes from graduation for Oklahoma from last year.
It's Kelsey Arnold, who now is the first base coach, and Grace Lyons got into the home run party on Friday.
And just a freshman, but she definitely knows how to swing it. This one was deep. Great swing, flies it in, and gave him the lead.
That was a combined perfect inning. It was a 5-run, 12-0 Sooner victory over the Retrievers of UMBC. Lyons goes down swinging as Menz gets her to end the inning.
Beautiful drop ball on the inside corner under the bat of Lyons, and that gets Wisconsin back in the dugout.
Take the lead, first pitch to Sydney Romero.
Tattooed it, hit herself up on the scoreboard. It was the home run number 18. Mariah Lopez in the circle has done such a good job of painting corners and using the rise ball, then found the drop ball as well. Edgecock with that looking strikeout. It's just been one of those days Mariah Lopez is getting used to. 3 strikeouts in this one. Has only thrown 1 inning coming into this game, but Patty Gasso loves the junior and has a lot of faith in her. Wants to make sure that she feels comfortable heading into the rest of postseason.
And Sydney Romero, the anchor over at third, has her name all over the career record books here at Oklahoma. Number 8 hitter Kelly Welsh steps in for Wisconsin. Wisconsin was no-hit yesterday by G. Juarez and have nothing to show for their first 6 at-bats today against Lopez. So Oklahoma last year did not give up a run in the entire regional. The last time was 2 years ago in the regional when Tulsa got a run. Oklahoma won that regional, excuse me, but that is now almost a 40-inning streak. So she puts it on the ground. Romero gets it, and she's safe. The first hit given up by Oklahoma in this regional.
It's not even a hit, it's a drag bunt. Catching the corners off guard, able to get Romero to try to charge this one. Bare hand, that's a veteran for you right there, able to pick it up. I think she's out. That, to me, the throw beats her, all because of the quick transfer and the quick play of Sydney Romero at third, but it's not called correctly. And the perfect no-hitter in the regional goes away.
So if we had instant replay and that was challenged, she'd be out.
Correct, but we don't. We've got a 4-person umpire crew. It's all about judgment.
So the combined perfect game between Juarez, Lopez, and Sale against UMBC on Friday, and then the 7-inning no-hitter by G. Juarez yesterday. And here is your first hit allowed in 14 innings of this regional for the Sooners. Now the throw behind. Look, Clifton coming over from second and almost nipping Welsh.
I feel like that's the best pickoff play because you come in behind the base runner and they don't know that you're there. You sneak in behind. The problem is you've got to get that tag dropped down to the bag. You can't tag the chest and expect to get the out. Make sure that this tag sneaks back behind, but you got to drop the tag down to the feet rather than trying to come up at the waist.
Short ball again and out this time. Another fine throw. Gets the lead runner.
How do you keep runners from being in scoring position? You got to have aggressive defenses, and that's right now where Oklahoma has the advantage. Coming away, Sid Romero, 2 highlight plays. Oklahoma only able to come up with one of those outs, though.
Shortstop Lyons got over to second in a hurry, but that, you're right, those are 2 spectacular throws by Romero on successive plays on the bunts. And good strategy, too, for Coach Yvette Healy. Nobody's getting any hits off of them. You play a little short ball, take your chances.
Well, especially at the bottom of the lineup where you know that there hasn't been a ton of run production, but at the same time, you've got to make sure that you're doing something different. Did not get a hit the last time they played Oklahoma, so they've just tried to use a small ball, get some base runners.
Miklish, the center fielder in the number 9 slot again for the Badgers. Threw out a runner at home against Notre Dame on Friday from center field. She puts down the bunt. I detect a pattern here.
I do too, but I would try to push these bunts down the first baseline knowing that the agility of Shea Knighton is not where it used to be. Sydney Romero, very spry on the third base corner. So if you can take a bunt to the first baseline, it's going to be harder for Oklahoma to get that coverage in place.
Miklish looking for her second hit of the regional. She reached on an error in the 7th inning last night and scored on Stephanie Lombardo's walk-off 3-run homer that eliminated the Irish. Full count with 1 away.
One of the reasons you see Miklish in this bottom of the lineup is because of the speed that she has. And when you talk to Yvette Healy, she says, I put Miklish in this 9 spot because of the power that comes around as she flips over the lineup with Conway on deck.
This is the 7th pitch of the at-bat, and she goes down swinging. 4th strikeout for Lopez. Don't miss a minute of the action from the NCAA Softball Regionals. We'll take you to the best live action on the Bases Loaded channel on the ESPN app. See every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. And Kayla Conwent trying to do some damage with 2 outs. She was hitless in the regional in her first 2 games until she popped a couple of doubles last night against Notre Dame. Also drew 2 walks. She popped up to Sydney Romero to start the game today. That one hit far, but well foul.
I'm talking with Kayla about what it was like during that 2-year span where she was not able to step onto the field. She said, you know, I had a little bit of an identity crisis. I was used to playing with my teammates and being aggressive on the field. And during those 2 years, I had to reevaluate what was most important to me and figure out exactly who I was as I rehabbed to try to make it back between the white lines.
And she did that with style, bursting on the scene to become the Big Ten Player of the Year. She's from Salem, Wisconsin. She held up her palm for us to show us it's below where the pinky is, right in the corner next to the Illinois border. That's what Wisconsinites do. They show you their palm and show you. For geography's sake, you need that lesson, I believe.
I definitely do.
She actually was thinking about going to Northwestern, and her mother, Cheryl, would have liked that because what she said is maybe 20 minutes away from her house, or 20 miles, because she's tucked into that southeastern corner of Wisconsin. But she decided to become a Badger, and things have worked out pretty well. There's Cheryl, her best friend. And Cheryl's little girl looking at a 3-1 pitch. Takes it for ball 4. And the Sooner faithful beg to differ.
But this is a different look for Kayla Conwent for us. In the first couple of games, she was swinging out of the zone, pitches that were in the dirt, in her eyes. She just was not settled in. But now we see a different Kayla Conwent, able to be more disciplined and draws a walk.
So Oklahoma has 2 runners on. They already gave up their first hit of this regional, and now Conwent will be lifted for a pinch runner. It is Gabby Shirley. One of the seniors on this squad. And Taylor Johnson, who has some definite power, comes up with 2 away and 2 on. First pitch swinging, sends it straight back.
In the first game, Taylor Johnson came up against Notre Dame. A big home run. Blasted that one out. And without that 3-run home run, they would have lost that game because in the bottom half of that inning, Notre Dame was able to respond with 2 runs of their own. So that 3-run shot gave them the 4-2 win.
Johnson takes it up and in. She is second in home runs now with 14, 1 behind Conwent, whose 15 homers are Wisconsin's single-season record.
And in talking with Yvette Healy about Taylor Johnson, she said, you know, in her freshman year, she was a little bit too serious. Able to hit .293 with 8 home runs, but this year has really loosened up, has allowed the game to be more fun, and because of it has increased her batting average by 60 points and almost doubled her home runs.
We've seen her be quite animated behind the plate. Young Johnson was the 3rd baseman for this club until mid-April, and she was put behind the plate because of Cross's injury. Facing a 2-2 pitch with 2 on and 2 away. Hit to Lyons, flips over to Clifton to end the inning, but Wisconsin has finally gotten a hit against Oklahoma. They trail 1-0.
Fall Regionals is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by the Volkswagen Atlas with 3rd row seating.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. Sydney Romero's leadoff home run in the bottom of the 1st has given Oklahoma the 1-0 lead over Wisconsin. Oklahoma 1 win away from advancing on to the Super Regional, where they will play either Louisville or Northwestern next weekend. They're in a weather delay in Evanston, but we hear the tarp is going to be coming off the field in about 15 minutes. That will be getting underway. Weather delays also in Ann Arbor and Minneapolis right now, so the Midwest getting some rain.
Absolutely nuts, but that Louisville team facing Northwestern later has some really big wins on the year at the end of ACC play, able to take 2 away from Florida State in that series. So that's going to be a good one. You're going to want to be able to catch that because the winner of that regional will face the winner of this one.
And a couple of defensive changes for the Badgers. Gabby Shirley now is playing right field, and Stephanie Lombardo goes from DP to first base. So she's over there defensively for Conwent. Conwent will stay in, certainly to hit. Defensive changes, we've seen quite a few.
51 for Wisconsin before this game, and so for them, we have to rely heavily on our stats guy, Craig Moran, to be able to keep us abreast of all the changes.
Here is the home run hitter, Sydney Romero, first pitch.
Well, you know that a pitcher is going to want to try to get ahead in the first at-bat of the game. Sydney Romero wastes no time putting a big swing on this one and giving Oklahoma the only run of the game so far.
That is her 7th home run in her 35th NCAA career game. Just 23 runs driven in, but she, like many of her teammates, kind of hit a wall in the World Series last year when the offense went south for Oklahoma. But boy, has she responded in her senior year so far. Taps it towards Fish, no chance. Romero takes the wide turn, but sticks to first. She's 2 for 2.
And in that swing, I didn't think that that ball was going to be able to make it up the middle, but because of the angle, it's an outside pitch that she tries to drive a little bit too far, gets around it. Fast up the line, reads it well, beyond the glove of Fish. Sydney Romero now 2 for 2 on the day.
She has both of Oklahoma's hits, and both have come to start off innings. Follow View rounded out her first time up, squares to bunt.
A lot of times you'll see a batter square to bunt just to see what the defense is going to do. And in that square, you saw Stephanie Lombardo over at first base staying home. So that drag bunt down the first base line is going to yield a base hit if she can get the angle correct and away from the pitcher.
Caitlin Menz ahead 0-2 to a view. Menz, a junior from Waukee, Iowa. A view sends it into left field. Kelly Welsh says, I have it, and indeed she does for the first out. Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. Action begins Thursday, May 30th at noon Eastern, live on ESPN. Go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships, for all of the information. 4 tickets already have been punched for the Super Regionals. And all of these clubs will be hosting Oklahoma, except for Oklahoma, they won't be hosting Florida and Florida State. Half of them, Jenny. Stay with me. Oklahoma State will go to Tallahassee.
I know
Jennifer will clarify that later.
Well, I know that they would all like to host Super Regionals, but it's really only that 1 through 8 seeding that is the guarantee. Is the guarantee, right? So pending upsets with those, with whichever of the brackets that 14 and 13 match up with, they will most likely be on the road.
Thank you, Jenny. But we know Oklahoma State will go to Florida State. Kentucky will get the winner out of the Seattle Regional. And if Washington wins, they'll go to Seattle. We know Florida will be home because they are in the top 8 seed.
Well, and Kentucky last year had to travel to Oregon to try to make it to Oklahoma City. A tough transition to fly all the way across the country, switch time zones, and try to take it to an opponent that sits above you in the seeds.
Haley Clifton ahead 2-0. She walked and stole a base her last time up.
Gotta love a pitcher that can change speeds. And when you've got a changeup coming in, early in a count, when you don't have 2 strikes on you, that's a good hold. So Kaylee Clifton, just one of those hitters that I love to watch hit because she stays in her legs so well, very balanced, and not one of the superstars on this team. She flies under the radar, but she is so dominant that she's one of the players that I highlight every time I come on campus.
Swing and a miss. Romero goes down, beats the throw as it got away from Fish.
The ball up in the zone, and she pulls her eyes off of it, gets the strikeout, but the aggressive base running of Sydney Romero puts herself in scoring position.
Now a visit as Taylor Johnson goes out to speak to men's. Kaylee Clifton hit a home run against Wisconsin when they played yesterday. Oklahoma with the 4-0 win, the complete game no-hitter for Giselle Juarez. And Kaylee Clifton outscoring the opponent 64-59, but we have a clip note to this because Sydney Romero also has scored 59 runs. So
what you're saying is Sydney Romero ties everybody, but Kaylee Clifton, she beats all y'all.
She's +5. And there's the strikeout for men's, her second.
It's a good changeup. It stays down in the zone. You never want to miss a changeup up in the zone, especially against a hitter like Kaylee Clifton. It's hard to keep back long enough to be able to catch up to it. So good pitch by men's in the circle. Her second strikeout of the day.
Men's yesterday went 2 1/3 innings against the Sooners, gave up 2 runs, only threw 31 pitches as she came in to relieve starter Haley Hestican. Jocelyn Allo. Grounded out her first time up. That was the nice play by Conwent over at first. The throw was offline, but Kayla was able to grab it and tag Allo.
We saw the outside pitch very effective against Oklahoma yesterday when they faced Wisconsin. Romero said of that performance, we live in a world of expectations and we are disappointed when we don't get there. So the message to the team was, we thrive on pressure. Let's go attack the pitches that we're given.
Now Romero has done that. She has the only 2 hits, but the rest of the lineup for Oklahoma, again leading the nation in so many categories. Sydney's the only one with any hits today. Allo goes down swinging to end the inning. Caitlin Mentz has kept the Sooners at bay since that opening home run.
A big hitter like Allo gets her on the outside corner. When we come back, we'll be talking with head coach for Oklahoma.
NCAA softball regionals presented by Capital One on a pristine day in Norman, Oklahoma. We are now joined by Oklahoma head coach Patty Gasso, and you told us before the game you thought your team was a little bit, well, let's say not aggressive enough at the plate. What are you seeing so far today?
I'm seeing a very good mix of pitches from Wisconsin, and it's just as long as we can get runners in scoring position, we'll get there. So I'm still pleased with what we're doing. We're just going to keep working.
And you've got 5 seniors that are really leading the charge. What are they doing in this game to try to change the momentum?
Well, just being good examples. Sid led off with a big home run. They're just going to continue to lead by example. That's what they've been doing their whole career.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Gasso. Her team has given up its first hit of the regional. It was a controversial bunt single called safe. Looked from our replays that it should have been an out call, but at least the run didn't score.
Well, that's because of the tough defense that Oklahoma has, but you love the pressure that Wisconsin is trying to put on this Oklahoma squad, using the short game to press and try to get base runners and push people around. But Oklahoma is such a dominant team, and it's going to be a tough charge for Wisconsin to try to even put a run on the board.
It has been impossible in the last 2 years in the regional. Where Oklahoma did not give up a run last year, has not given up a run this year. Here is the hero yesterday, Stephanie Lombardo, the 3-run walk-off homer in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs to eliminate Notre Dame. Before Lombardo hit that home run with 2 outs in the regionals, Wisconsin was just 2 for 22. And they are 0 for 3 today with 2 outs.
Little controversy asking about if that was a foul tip.
Jen Rocha, the pitching coach, coming out of the dugout.
Originally, he had put up 1-1, so it made everybody think that that was going to be called a ball. But that tipped off the glove, not off, or it tipped off the bat, not just the glove. So it's an 0-2 count.
Lombardo struck out looking first time up. Lombardo, one of the seniors on the Wisconsin team. And that's a solid single, no doubt about that one. Lombardo leads off the 4th with the single.
Well, and that's the first hard hit that we've seen that's been able to find the grass by anybody in this regional. Stephanie Lombardo with a good one, taking a pitch, left over too much of the plate. When I asked Patty Gasso that question about, what these seniors are doing to change the momentum, the momentum is already in the favor of Oklahoma. They have storm-rolled through everybody in the country this year. Their last loss not since February 22nd against UCLA. And so the momentum that I was speaking to was just the feel that they got against their last matchup against Wisconsin. They were not happy with how they were hitting. They were not happy with their performance at the plate. Patty Gasso said they watched too many pitches on the outside corner. And so the message was, how are you going to attack today? So the momentum needing to change just in the aggression at the plate.
Lauren Foster with the first pitch strike. A pinch runner now over at first. Sydney Lawson running for Lombardo, who just singled. Oklahoma no-hit Wisconsin yesterday. Sooners did have 4 runs on 8 hits. Kaylee Clifton with the 2-run homer accounting for half of the runs. In the first 2 games, Oklahoma had only allowed 2 base runners. With the perfect game and the no-hitter today, 3 Wisconsin base runners. And we're in the 4th inning.
I think a lot of that has to do with the mentality that this Wisconsin team has brought into this game. They had a little trinket given to them by Lauren Foster's dad before this postseason began. It's a lion killer device.
And the strikeout. That is the 5th K for Lopez.
You've got to be able to attack this pitch. The problem is the velocity is increased. She's doing a great job of mixing her speeds. Mariah Lopez finds that outside corner, and Lauren Foster can't get the bat off her shoulder.
Caroline Hedgecock struck out looking her first time up.
So here's this lion killer device that Coach Yvette Healy was telling us about. She said, we read the book called Chase the Lion in the preseason as a coaching staff. But that device can only be used as a lion is charging you, and as it opens its mouth to chomp, you have to shove it in its mouth, and as it chomps down, it kills the lion. And the reason she told us about that is because you have to be able to face the lion and look it in the eye as it charges at you. She said this Oklahoma squad is one of those teams that is a lion in the nation, and you've got to be able to face them head on, look them in the eye, and attack them as they come right at you.
0-2 pitch popped up to Sydney Romero for the second out.
second baseman.
Lauren Foster's dad, again, the pitching coach for the Colorado Rockies.
Where did he get a lion killer device?
I don't even want to know. I found that story to be distressing and inspiring at the same time. Jolie Fish.
A lot of it comes down to they went to the Oklahoma City National Memorial during their practice day, and in that they made the correlation between we may be facing Oklahoma, but the first responders in that national disaster, they had to run towards the fight. And so that's the message that this Wisconsin team is grasping.
Run towards the things that scare you, and Oklahoma, they're pretty scary. When you look at the numbers and what they have done so far this season, so far this weekend, Wisconsin is with men's in the circle. They're getting runners on base. On the other side, it was the first pitch of the game that was hit out by Romero, and since then, they have kept the Lion at bay without having to use an instrument to kill it.
Well, and it's Lopez, as she throws this ball in, you expect it to move, and that one actually, I think, sat flat a little bit. That would have been a great pitch for Fish to attack.
Shea does it again.
That's my favorite name in the postseason. Big Play Shea comes away with another one. That one would have pushed runners around the bases, but not when Shea Knighton's on the corner.
Sooners lead Wisconsin 1-0, joined now by Yvette Healy, the head coach for the Badgers. And coming in, it seems to be a daunting task, but I would imagine that you're pleased, especially by what your hitters are doing.
Sure. I mean, you know, there's no better story. If you're going to play on Championship Sunday, you might as well play the #1 team in the country.
Well, we've talked about that formidable foe and how you face the Lion. What is it this team is doing to really change up what they did yesterday against them?
Well, change up's the right word, right? We just talked about being more fearless. And I think that's the thing of, the first time you see a powerhouse like this at home, it can feel a little uncomfortable, but the second time, they're starting to settle in. So really proud of them to get another shot at Oklahoma at home is a pretty cool experience.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yvette Healy taking her team to the NCAAs for the third straight year. That has never happened in the history of Wisconsin softball. And you got to give a lot of credit to Caitlin Menz in the circle, taking on this team. The first pitch out of her hand was crushed by Romero for a home run. But since then, just the single to Romero, and she's held her own.
Menz has 3 strikeouts on the day, 2 of them coming in the last inning against really big hitters, Clifton and Alo. So now facing the freshman Grace Green, going to try to continue that momentum.
Green popped up her first time. And Wisconsin was not just shut out, but was no hit by Oklahoma yesterday, and G. Juarez. Menz ahead 0-2. And gets her. She has struck out 3 in a row. All of them swinging.
Well, and we saw the away pitch was where the vulnerability was against Oklahoma yesterday when they faced Wisconsin. Patty Gasso talked to her hitters and she said, "Where is this pitch?" And all the hitters were saying, "It's not a strike, coach." And when she went back and watched it, she said, "Yes, it is, and that's the pitch we need to attack today."
Shea Knighton, who made the stellar defensive play to end the 4th inning for Wisconsin, robbing Jolie Fish of a hit. On an error, was stranded her first time up. Change up that floated out of the zone.
Well, and heading into this inning, Men's was 9 for 13 in first pitch strikes. I'm sure she'd like to take the first pitch strike back that she threw to Sydney Romero, who capitalized on a pitcher trying to get ahead to start a game.
Men's yesterday, cleaning up for Hestican against Oklahoma, struck out 4 in 2 1/3 innings. She's got 4 Ks in 3 1/3 so far today, but has fallen behind Knighton 3-0. And Hestican is warming up in the pen. Do or die for Wisconsin. They lose this game, their season's over. They win this game, and we will have a winner-take-all that will follow later today in Norman. (3-1) to Knighton. The appeal down and no swing, says Keith Kearney over at first, and Knighton reaches. Sunday Night Baseball features the Cubs and the Nationals in Washington, D.C. as they close out their series at 7 Eastern. Trey Turner back in the lineup. He's been on the DL since the opening week. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown on ESPN and the ESPN app. Steven Strasburg pitched well yesterday and got the win for the Nats in Game 2 after they were thumped in Game 1. So the rubber match tonight on DC. And there's a Cub fan. Actually, the Wisconsin coaching staff, there's a bunch of Cub fans on that. We had to hear about that on Thursday. Pinch runner for Oklahoma is Reagan Rogers for Knighton. And Nicole Mendez, who hit a home run on Friday night against UMBC, comes in. Popped out on a nice play by the second baseman Fish, her first time up. Yvette Healy's from Chicago, the head coach. Danielle Zimkowitz, also a big Cubby fan. Mendez shows bunt. Now he's got to be on the lookout. Taylor Johnson's always popping up, looking to throw down to a base.
The thing that makes a pickoff hard in this situation is you've got a left-handed batter up, so being able to throw around that runner back to first base a little bit more hard. And so she'll just, I think on first base, I would take a much bigger lead in this situation, knowing that a throwdown is going to have to come around the batter rather than having it be a quick throw right through the box.
Mendez with that swing showing the reason why there's netting now in front of dugouts.
The ball just jumps off the bat, and when you're that close to the plate, you've got to make sure that you're always watching, but that net in front has been an integral piece of, that's been an addition in just the last 5 to 7 years.
Mendez swings through, Rogers takes off, and she is called out! Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, and what Patty Gasso is asking for is an obstruction call. You are not allowed to block the bag unless you have possession of the ball. The ball had not arrived. A lane was not given to the bag on the approach of the runner, and so obstruction is not called, but that is exactly what Patty Gasso is asking for. That arm outstretched is the obstruction call from an umpire. So check out the timing. The ball has to be in the hand of the defender before the bag can be blocked. She was blocking the bag, preventing any kind of advancement before she had secured the ball. So I think that Patty Gasso in this situation may have a little bit of an argument in this one. No obstruction is called, and no lane was given. No obstruction, though, and that'll be called out. So check out that top line. Defensive players must have possession of the ball to be positioned between the base and the runner unless they are fielding the ball. That is not a fielded ball. That is a thrown ball, so it's a little bit different.
And even without the obstruction, I don't even know if the tag was put down in time.
Well, she never
on
reached the
that
bag. She never got there because she was blocked. She was tagged because she couldn't get through. I know you always say
She got her foot in.
I know you always say we argue about
So
everything,
wrong.
but I think that's one of those times that obstruction probably needed to be called because the bag was blocked before she had the ball.
And that's something that seriously, even though you're wrong again, needs to be worked out with a four-man umpiring crew, is the positioning for those stolen base calls at second is not good.
We saw it in the ACC tournament really actually go against the right call because of their positioning back behind. They do not see when a ball is received and when a tag is applied. And so it's something that they have to play with a little bit. This four-person umpire crew is a different look for these umpires in the postseason. They are used to a three-person crew throughout the regular season.
Seventh pitch coming now to Mendez. Plunks that one hard but foul.
I think the only way for Reagan Rogers to have been able to get into the bag safely would have been on a slide by where she went wide of the bag and then reached in with her hand. But typically you ask a stolen base, a runner trying to steal a base, you ask them to go straight in because it's the quickest path to the bag.
Pitch number 8 to Mendez. So good news from Evanston. They are going to get a first pitch off in about 20 minutes. Louisville at Northwestern, they've been having some weather issues. That game will start on the ESPN app. And again, the winner of that regional will play the winner of this regional next week in the Supers. Full count to Mendez. Works the walk, a 9-pitch walk for Nicole. Back-to-back walks given up by Menz.
That's a quality at bat by Mendez to be able to battle through and draw the walk. Menz not happy about the result.
Lindsay Elam reached on a fielder's choice and was stranded in the second. That's hit to Foster, who grabs it to end the inning. Oklahoma still just with 2 hits.
You make the call, obstruction or not. It's called out. Patty Gasso not happy.
In Wisconsin 1-0 in this regional final. If the Sooners win, they will host a super regional next week. Wisconsin wins, they will force a decisive Game 7 in this regional. Sydney Romero, first pitch home run. That is all the offense we've had. Shay Knighton gets Welsh out. She went after the first pitch from Lopez.
Not happy with the result, trying to take advantage of a first pitch strike. Pops it up. Shay Knighton makes it look easy.
These two teams played yesterday, and Oklahoma had a complete game no-hitter by G. Juarez. Jordan Little reached on a fielder's choice her first time up. After 4 innings yesterday, Oklahoma led 1-0 over the Badgers, and we sit in the exact same situation.
Difference being they are even in hit production. Both teams with 2 hits. That's not something that we were expecting coming into this, but Wisconsin, knowing they've got a big foe against them, trying to make some changes at the plate.
Kaylee Clifton put it away with the 2-run homer in the 7th off of Caitlin Menz, who is starting today, and has only allowed 2 hits, a homer and a single, both by Sydney Romero. Meanwhile, Mariah Lopez has given up a bunt single and a solid single in this game, and has struck out 5 so far. Make it 6.
Mariah Lopez dealing in the circle, taking this one up into the eyes of Little, jumping. She uses that rise on different planes, and that's what makes it so hard because it's deceiving as it comes in. You don't know if it's going to jump or if it's going to drop or if it's going to drift off to the side. And so a great pitcher, Mariah Lopez, has played behind big pitchers like Paige Parker, and we'll see a change in the circle.
Patty Gasso comes out to get Lopez, and the junior Shannon Sale comes in. Second time we've seen her this weekend. Struck out the side in that combined perfect game against UMBC on Friday night. More on Sale when we come back to Norman.
Number 13, Alvin Mickler.
That's a surprise. Cornell is the Hofstra transfer who has pitched so well for Alabama this year. Well, we've just had a pitching change here. Shannon Sale coming in for Lopez to face Miklish and then Kayla Conwent. Should Miklish reach?
And typically you see a pitching change when a pitcher is struggling, but I would not say that's where Mariah Lopez was. Patty Gasso wanting to make sure that every pitcher of her staff is ready to go in the postseason.
She does have that very deep. She goes 3 deep with her pitchers.
In those upper 60s, throws a little bit harder than Lopez, but she's hard to dig in. You got to focus on every pitch. I would call her a pitcher that is effectively wild, so you've got to make sure that you attack mistakes and stay disciplined on the plate because she will be around it a lot.
And on this pitching staff that has the best earned run average in the nation, it is Shannon Sale who has the lowest ERA at 1.05. Giselle Juarez, known as G, warming in the pen. She's 24-0 and no hit Wisconsin yesterday. So all hands on deck for Coach Gasso. Lopez went 4 2/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. 81 pitches, 54 of them for strikes before giving way to Sale.
Well, and each of these pitchers needs to be ready to not only start, relieve, but also close.
Miklish. And Wisconsin is now out-hitting Oklahoma 3-2. And that brings up Conwent. Kayla Conwent, a couple of doubles last night in the win against Notre Dame after going hitless in the first 2 games of the regional.
Now batting, number 15, Kayla Conwent.
Miklish picks up her 2nd hit of the regional. And Conwent did a lot of good things this year.
Able to be the Big Ten Player of the Year, led the conference in 3 offensive categories. She may be a junior on campus, but this just her first season competing, a freshman for Wisconsin in the biggest games of her career.
First 2 years saddled by injuries, but really bursting onto the scene. In a big situation, she's ahead of Sale, 2-0.
And you see her nodding her head yes. She knew that that was a pitch that she wanted to attack. 2-0 count was my favorite as a power hitter, knowing that the pitcher did not want to fall behind. I would swing out of my shoes on that 2-0 count.
Takes a strike.
nips the corner. It's a good spot. Oklahoma's been called on that pitch all day long, so finding that one, Sale dominating, able to fill the zone and even the count.
Two-two pitch. Got her! The throw down by Elam completes the strikeout. A huge K for Sale.
Able to get a big hitter like Conway and get yourself out of the inning. That fires up Sale, and Oklahoma will pick up the bats.
Oklahoma, the Sooners, the #1 team, #1 overall seed, just cleaned up with all the Big 12 major awards.
I don't know that you could have a better performance by any of these players. They've been led by the seniors, but Grace Green stepping on, being the freshman of the year, led by Patty Gasso, the coach of the year here at Oklahoma.
8 straight Coach of the Year awards, 12 in all in the Big 12 for Patty Gasso. Maybe they'll rename that award for her.
Absolutely crazy how many times she's been able to come away with that one.
But her team is only leading Wisconsin by the slimmest of margins. They've been out-hit 3-2, but Sydney Romero, her leadoff home run, the first pitch she saw from Caitlin Menz, that's the only scoring for both teams. Bottom of the order, #9 hitter Grace Lyons, leading things off. And just recently named interim president of the University of Oklahoma, Joseph Haraz Jr. Out in the outfield, Bob Stoops, the head coach. The football team is there. Joe Castiglione just lifted his head for us just in time. He is the athletic director. Bob Stoops, the former head coach. Lincoln Riley now in charge. Riley had been one of his coordinators. There's a Stoops in Kentucky and Jenny Dalton Hill land, right?
All right, Mark Stoops at Kentucky, the head football coach.
Caroline Hedgecock, who started the game in right field, by the way, is back in right. That is the 8th overall change already for Wisconsin today. Chile mixing up things on defense early and often. Now,
the fewest changes in a game for Wisconsin were 14 when they played Oklahoma the last time. So we've still got a little bit of a ways to go before we match the fewest number of changes for Yvette Healy.
Strike 3. 51-mile-an-hour pitch got Lyons looking.
Oh, the changeup. If you can trust it in any count, that's a great place to throw it. Keeping it down in the zone, nips it bottom of the zone and gets the strikeout.
Caitlin Menz with her 5th strikeout today. She has struck out Oklahoma over the last 2 times they've played. 9 times, 9 of the 14 times that Oklahoma has struck out in this regional, it's been with Menz in the circle. And the one player she's not fooling is Sydney Romero.
No, she has figured it out, and it's been on time every single swing. I mean, right now, Sydney Romero seeing the ball so well. It's going to be that change of speed that Menz is going to need to throw to get Romero out of those legs to try to get something other than a hard hit ball.
Wow. She's got a home run and a single, the only 2 Sooner hits this afternoon. Making good contact in all of her at-bats. Reaches out with the 2-strike count and is thrown out by Little. Second out of the inning.
Well, and how did she get her, Pam? It was with the off speed. Romero out in front of it, only able to tap a ground ball, and great defense by Little gets the out. And the first time that they've been able to retire Sydney Romero in this game.
Volley of you, 2 outs, base is empty. Two-time second-team All-Big 12 performer. Hitting over 100 points higher than she did last year as a junior. First-team All-Big 12 this year.
In asking Patty Gasso about Volley of You, she said the reason she had a little dip in her average last year, she just had put too much pressure on herself to perform. A very emotional leader for this team. This year able to settle in and really lead by example and elevate her average. Now coming into this game, hitting .388.
And a 3-0 pitch on the way to a view. Taking it. Bailey Clifton on deck. Clifton hit a home run off of Men's yesterday in the 7th inning of the no-hitter that Juarez threw against Wisconsin. That is a base hit. Third hit of the game for the Sooners, and here comes Clifton. Sports Center with Butchie and Levy tonight after Sunday Night Baseball. The story of Fenway Park's head groundskeeper. He is a dog. How the Raptors can bounce back against the Bucks and more on the PGA Championship. Sports Center after the Cubs and Nats on ESPN and the ESPN app. Always love dog stories. Baby Clifton, the senior who has come through in big moments. Look at that, .415 average with the homers and the runs driven in. She has walked and struck out swinging against Men's this afternoon, but hit the homer off of her yesterday. Clifton lays off, but it gets in there for the strike.
And it's that outside corner where Oklahoma has shown they are a little bit vulnerable against this Wisconsin squad. So that pitch on the outside corner needing to be made an adjustment on. And all you have to do is let that pitch ride a little bit deeper into your zone and look to hit it in the 3-4 hole, drive it the other way. These hitters very good. They know how to do it, but right now when they're ahead in the count, they don't want to swing at it.
Finds a 3-4 hole to keep the inning alive. The view stops at second. Back-to-back singles for Oklahoma sets up Jocelyn Allo.
Well, and Clifton makes it look easy. She does exactly what we said. Let the ball travel a little bit deeper into her zone, hit it the other way. The 3-4 hole very big for Wisconsin, and right now that puts them in with a runner in scoring position.
Jocelyn Allo has struck out swinging against Men's in 2 of her 3 at-bats against her in this regional, including yesterday and her last at-bat today. And now a visit to men's in the circle. We have an update with Molly McGrath. I think a big fly somewhere. Thank you, Molly. And that's Bailey Hemphill doing Bailey Hemphill things, hitting the grand slam for Alabama as they are hosting a regional. 4 teams are in: Florida, Oklahoma State, Florida State, and Kentucky. Oklahoma, with the win today, will join the super regional party. Sydney Romero with the solo shot on the first pitch that she saw from men's today, accounting for all the runs. And after the visit, here's Jocelyn Allo. 0 for her last 6 in this regional as her batting average has dipped below 400. And in the bullpen, Haley Hestekin, who started against Oklahoma yesterday. She appears to be warm as she is looking on.
Change up, bottom of the zone, trusted in any count, and I like the hold by Allo, knowing that she's ahead in the count. That pitch she's going to be ahead on, probably get her barrel through the zone a little too early, so a good hold by Allo.
Another change-up. Such an effective pitch for men's.
And because it's trusted, she throws it in any count. Well, does she have it in her to throw 3 in a row to a big hitting Allo?
Would you?
I don't know. I'm not the pitching coach, and I'm grateful for that right
on
here.
The fence, JDH. Hit right at Hedgecock. Good contact by Allo, but lines it right to the right fielder. 2 left on for the Sooners.
In this one, because of Sydney Romero's very first pitch that she saw in the game, takes it deep, a no-doubter, and that gives Oklahoma the 1-0 lead. Caitlin Menz, though, has really battled well against these Oklahoma hitters. She's had 6 0-2 counts, and right now doing a great job of finding that outside corner and using the changeup to mix things up in the circle.
And that's what we have so far. Menz has gotten into a little bit of trouble, had 2 on in the last inning, but got Allo to line out to end it. Mariah Lopez started for Oklahoma, went 4 2/3, and has been lifted in favor of Shannon Sale, who remains in the circle as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Pam Ward along with Jenny Dalton-Hill. Just a beautiful day for softball in Norman. Wisconsin trying to force a decisive Game 7 in this regional. Oklahoma needs just 1 win to host a super next week. Taylor Johnson, the catcher for Wisconsin, steps in first. Wisconsin with 3 hits, Oklahoma now with 4. The Sooners had not given up a hit in their first 2 games here in the regional. They still have not given up a run. Oklahoma, in fact, has not given up a run in regional play in 2 calendar years. Jen Rocha sitting down, the pitching coach. Patty Gasso standing up, the head coach. 42 1/3 straight innings now in regional play without giving up a run for the Sooners. But how about a leadoff walk for Johnson? Some regional storylines. The defending champs back in the Super Regionals. Florida State hit 10 home runs in their regional this weekend, so they are through. North Carolina has forced a winner-take-all game at Tennessee, and 2 SEC schools, Florida and Kentucky, already through to the Super Regionals. Very exciting Sunday, and Patty Gasso comes out to speak with her infield and Shannon Sale, and pitcher number 3 is going to come in, and it is G. Juarez, who threw a no-hitter against Wisconsin yesterday. We will take a break as well as the Sooners bring in their 3rd pitcher of the day. G. Juarez has stepped into the circle for Oklahoma yesterday, a 7-inning complete game, no-hitter, her 4th career no-hitter, 22 strikeouts, including 16, a season high yesterday against Wisconsin. So G. Juarez comes in, first pitch swinging, Lombardo sends it to Mendez, and that's a quick out.
Well, Lombardo was the home run hero yesterday. A big swing got them the win. So trying to capitalize like Sidney Romero did on the first pitch out of the pitcher's hand.
Shannon Sale walked Taylor Johnson to start this inning. So enter Juarez, the transfer from Arizona State, who did not get to campus in Norman until the start of the spring semester. Lauren Foster struck out twice today. Heads down to first base, appears to be all right.
Scary moment knowing how hard G. Juarez throws. This one looks like it hits her in the helmet. Oh, that's a tough one to take. But I guess you'd say she really kept her eye on it. But that's a tough pitch. And it's the curveball that can sometimes get up and away from G. Juarez, coming from the left side into a right-handed batter. But kudos to Foster to take that one.
Well, it seems like it would take an awful lot to phase Lauren Foster.
She's a beast.
So 2 on and just 1 out.
The last time G. Juarez faced Wisconsin, she had a perfect game going until she did hit a batter that broke up the perfect game. She did get the no-hitter, but a little bit of a wild pitch broke up the perfect game.
Good job by Elam to block it momentarily, but both runners move up. Aggressive base running sends Johnson to 3rd.
Well, the ball down in the zone, you've got to make sure you keep it in front. She does, but heads up base running allows Johnson to get into 3rd beyond the tag of Romero.
Runners at 2nd and 3rd, just 1 out. Both runners moving up on the wild pitch. Hitchcock swings through. Wisconsin 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position today. Oklahoma 0 for 5. Yvette Healy trying to pull off the huge upset. Oklahoma's won 41 straight games this season. Hedgecock, they're squeezing, and they tied the game. Oklahoma has given up a run in the regional for the first time in 2 years, and we are knotted up.
Caroline Hedgecock, not known as a hitter when she was at Arkansas, but puts down the squeeze play. It has to be a tag because bases are not loaded. She sees it on the ground. And look at that. Taylor Johnson so excited to be able to come away with the game-tying run off of Oklahoma.
It has been 43 innings in regional play going back to 2017 that Oklahoma has given up a run. They outscored their opponents 24-0 in last year's regional. And Juarez had gone 27 2/3 innings scoreless. A pinch runner over at first. It's Heather Rudnicki running for Hedgecock, who got the squeeze down to get the run in. And the threat is not over yet. Another bunt. And another run. That one was put down by Jolie Fish, the Oklahoma native.
And there's nothing that G. Juarez can do. There's no way she can get the play at home. Too fast on the bases. And because of it, Wisconsin finds themselves with the lead over Oklahoma.
Great strategy by Yvette Healy and her staff. 2 straight squeeze plays with the bunt. And Oklahoma is trailing 2-1, and we're in the top of the 6th inning. Kelly Welsh has one of the 3 hits for the Badgers. Unfamiliar territory for Oklahoma. One-two pitch. Juarez gets it. Elam has to throw down to complete the strikeout, but your eyes do not deceive you. Oklahoma is trailing after Wisconsin plates 2 in the 6th.
Oklahoma City at the Women's College World Series.
The Young Guns of Oklahoma have won the national championship. Shay Knighton knew it was gone the second it left her bat. And the diving catch by Warren for the double play.
Women's College World Series is indeed upcoming, and we are here in Norman where 4 teams, we have word that 4 teams have advanced on to the Super Regionals, including Florida State, who won it all last year. But Oklahoma comes up in the bottom of the 6th. Kylie Lundberg will be pinch hitting for Grace Green, and Oklahoma is trailing for the first time in over a month. The last time they trailed was April 19th when Texas got a first inning run. They have only trailed 3 times in the 41-game winning streak. In that game where they fell behind against Texas, they had to go to extra innings to beat the Longhorns 4-3 in 8 innings. Lundberg into center, tracked down by Nicklish for the first out. If Wisconsin hangs on for 5 more outs, they will force a decisive Game 7 later this afternoon in Norman to decide who goes to the Super Regional. Shay Knighton has reached on an error and walked. Wisconsin 2 runs on just 3 hits. They scored those 2 runs in the top of this inning on no hits. Oklahoma with 4 hits. One of them the Romero home run on the first pitch out of the hand of Caitlin Menz, but since then, they have come up empty.
They've got 4 hits on the day, but just 1 run. Haven't been able to score again since that opening home run, like you said, Pam, by Sydney Romero.
Oklahoma team that averages over 8 runs per game. They lead the nation in so many categories, but they have been stymied by men's.
Right now, Oklahoma leading the nation in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. And coming into the weekend, we're leading with home runs per game numbers as well.
Three-one pitch on the way to Knighton. Full count. Oklahoma now second in the nation to Florida State in overall home runs. Seminoles with 104. The Sooners are 2 behind that. Full count to Knighton. Hits it on the ground to Little. 2 away. So Wisconsin scored at the top of this inning without getting a hit.
And it all was due to the short game. At the beginning of the inning, Shannon Sale put on the leadoff walk, and then a hit batter by Juarez gave them the opportunity to make it happen. 2 squeeze plays. Those are the 2 runs for Wisconsin.
Strategy from Yvette Healy, hiding behind that post, the head coach. And terrific job in the circle by Menz. That's a foul ball as Mendez tries to get on via the bunt. Caitlin Menz with some big wins during the regular season. She has beaten Texas, North Carolina, and Auburn, all of them in the NCAA tournament. And when we talked to Coach Healy on Thursday, he said, tell us about Menz. She said she's just clutch and very calm. Even as a freshman, she was calm coming in, and she has been very smooth facing this Oklahoma team. Johnson pounces on it and throws out Mendez. Taylor Johnson is fired up after throwing out Mendez to end the inning.
Right now, Wisconsin 3 outs away from being able to claim a game here in this Oklahoma Regional.
Regionals is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Enterprise. Rent, buy, or share. How can Enterprise pick you up today?
Welcome back to Norman, where Wisconsin leads Oklahoma 2-1 going to the top of the 7th inning. Pinch hitter Melanie Cross coming in for Jordan Little to start things off in the top of the 7th. Oklahoma has used all 3 pitchers. And if Oklahoma falls, we will have one more game to determine who goes on to the Super Regional. Caitlin Menz has been terrific in the circle. Just the home run pitch to Sydney Romero to lead off the game for Oklahoma. That's all she has given up. Oklahoma's 41-game win streak right now on life support, as they will have the bottom of the order up. There's Caitlin Menz, looking calm, cool, and collected.
102 pitches in this outing so far, doing a great job of mixing speeds, hitting corners, and Oklahoma has not been able to figure her out in this matchup.
Melanie Cross had been the everyday catcher for Wisconsin until she broke her left hand against Northwestern in mid-April, working her way back into the lineup and unable to catch. That's where Taylor Johnson has stepped in and done a nice job behind the plate. Full count.
Great battle by Cross coming off the bench. She's coming in cold, but battling against Juarez.
Seventh pitch to Cross, and she swings and misses. Lots more softball coming your way on this Super Regional Sunday. There's a weather delay. Drake and Georgia had been delayed, a suspended game that will be completed later on today. And then the winner will take on Minnesota, so it's going to be a late night there. Texas Tech and LSU also facing off. And we will get you there when this game is completed, and it could be relatively soon. If the Sooners stay off the scoreboard in the bottom of this inning. That is lifted towards left. A view drifted over nicely to retire Miklish.
That was a really nice hit by Miklish, able to square up Juarez, but the outfield for Oklahoma able to range and find it.
2 out, nobody on for Kayla Conwent. Juarez in the circle. No hit Wisconsin yesterday. And Wisconsin had a dramatic bottom of the 7th win against Notre Dame just to get to this game.
Conwent, who was silent in the first couple of games here in Oklahoma, found her swing in last night's game against Notre Dame. 2 doubles in back-to-back at-bats, and also pulling in 2 walks to get herself settled in.
A view, can't get to that, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Conwent going to stop at second.
Look at this hit. A ball down in the zone. She has to go down to get it. That'll go down as a hit. And not just a single. Conwent busting out of the box. As it gets past, she knows she's got a stand-up double coming off of Juarez.
That is the 3rd double for Conwent in the last 2 games. Juarez gambled, tried to make the catch, but instead it got by her all the way to the wall. But boy, that ball was indeed stung by Conwent.
The thing that's hard on that one is you saw Fale of you go down with 2 hands. You've got a better reach when you reach with 1. So I wonder if she had just gone down with 1 hand, if she had been able to come away with the catch. And it's so hard as you play on the corner and that ball goes down by the line. You've got nobody to back you up. So as soon as that ball gets by, you've got to make sure that you hustle back to get it because you've got no support behind you. But look as she reaches with 2. Now, even reaching with 1, she wasn't going to be able to come away with it. And you can't dive out there in that position either. So what you've got to do is make sure that you block it up and keep it in front. It's a tough hit by Conwent and gets her a double.
Conwent was already pinch run for earlier in the game, so she has to stay out there at second. Taylor Johnson, it's a very tough 1-2 combination at the top of this lineup for the Badgers with Conwent and Johnson. The 2 top power hitters on this club. Johnson trying to get an insurance run home. The and one-hitters due up. Elam, Lyons, and Romero in that order in the bottom of this inning. Sent to right, Alo drifting over and had to take a little hop to grab it. Good contact by Johnson. But she is retired, and last chance now for Oklahoma. Elam, Lyons, and the home run hitter, Romero. And Wisconsin in the first inning, things started with a bang for the Sooners.
Sydney Romero took the first pitch, launched it over the wall. That would give Oklahoma the 1-0 lead. They had not scored again in the sixth inning. It was all Wisconsin and short game. Caroline Hedgecock lays down the squeeze to score Taylor Johnson. And then another squeeze in the very next batter. Jolie Fish lays it down. That scores Lauren Foster. And because of that, right now, Oklahoma trailing Wisconsin 2-1 and just 3 outs away from their first home loss this year.
In fact, it would be the first loss on this field in 2 years. Last loss coming in May of 2017. That was that infamous regional opener loss to North Dakota. And it's 41 in a row overall. That is an NCAA record for a single season winning streak. And they also have won 49 straight games at home, and Patty Gasso is going to the bench. Leah Flores pinch hitting for Elam, who is 0 for 2 against men's. North Dakota State that last won on this field a couple of years ago when Oklahoma had to come out of the losers bracket. They ultimately won the World Series. Flores' second at bat of this regional. She's 0 for 1. Takes the strike. And Caitlin Menz has given up 4 hits and just the 1 home run to Romero against the nation's highest scoring team. Flores hits that one on the nose. Miklish, well, she stumbled a little bit, but still was able to track it down for the out.
That's a great at-bat coming off the bench in a pressure-filled situation with just 3 outs to go, trying to get the win. They've got to push 1 across to extend this game.
Grace Lyons has struck out twice, once swinging, once looking against men's this afternoon. Lauren Foster, 2 away. It's all up to Romero. Sydney Romero has provided all of the scoring and half of the hits for the Sooners. Base hit, Romero's 3rd of the day, keeps the Sooners alive.
Sydney Romero comes up clutch again, extending this inning. She sees the ball so well, stays in her legs, and just drives right through this one. Watching Sydney Romero is a thing of beauty when she's at the plate. A beautiful swing, and right now it falls to Folly of You to try to get another run.
Romero, one of the 10 finalists for National Player of the Year. View singled her last time up. That's hit to Foster, who is a terrific shortstop, and the streak is over. Oklahoma loses for the first time in 3 months. The 41-game NCAA record winning streak is over, and they have lost on this field for the first time in 2 years.
Oklahoma is stunned by this one, but Wisconsin knew it was going to have to face the Lion to be able to come away and get another opportunity against them. They absolutely stared down the foe and was able to come away with it.
And our Capital One player of the game, is it any doubt that it is Caitlin Menz? Gave up the leadoff home run to Sydney Romero on the first pitch she threw, and then shut him out the rest of the way.
Settled down, able to get those 5 strikeouts, only that 1 earned run. Oklahoma fans a little bit disappointed, but that forces the if necessary Game 7 here at Oklahoma.
That little guy probably doesn't remember seeing them ever lose here. That's why he's so upset. But yes, there is one more game to go. No crying in softball. One more game. We'll see you for the winner-take-all game coming up. For Jenny Dalton Hill and our entire crew, I'm Pam Ward saying so long for now. We're going to send you to Tech and LSU, and then be back for the winner-take-all game.